What are the rarest Pokémon in an open world game? It's taken me over a year and 9 other videos to finally see what holds in the latest main series Pokémon entries. And Scarlet and Violet make for the most unique rarest team process by far, given that these games are unlike anything else in the series, able to be fully traversed from the word go, an incredible Pokédex size compared to other games, and also games that run about as well as Adobe's. But in spite of this complete shift in overall format for Pokémon Scarlet, rare creatures are aplenty across the region, and made this arguably my favourite game in the series to beat with only the rarest Pokémon. Although, in order to get to that point, we need to get through this game's introduction. It's super fun and not at all mind-numbing introduction. Firstly, we get to create our character, and I make sure to give Virtual Luca violet-coloured hair just to make it clear to you at home that this game is not Pokemon Violet, and then we get to do an exercise in button mashing for approximately 2 hours of real time. Look, there's nothing new to say about these games that haven't already been said, so I'll condense my frustration into a truncated 1-second noise, which will now free me up to focus on the mechanical changes for rare Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. As opposed to previous games where encounter odds were proportionally divided as a percentage chance in each area of a game, the Paldean entries change encounter odds from percentages to probability weights. In the opening area of the game, for instance, Poco Path is home to Pawmi, which has a probability weight of 5 for it to spawn in. Compared to everything else in the area, which ranges from a weight of 40 to 80, this gives Pawmi a 5 over 315 or 1 in 63 chance of spawning in versus anything else, which is just shy under 2%. Now, if Pawmi were locked to this location, then it would absolutely make its way on the team. Yet it's much easier to come across in other areas, which disqualifies it from this roster. Across my copious research, however, of opening 32 tabs on Bulbapedia and setting my computer on fire, I was able to settle on 12 Pokemon that I believed to be universally rare across the region. And the first 2 encounters, at least, can be found just before we enter the main city of Misagoza. On top of this, both represent very different styles of rare encounter. So who are they? Not Igglybuff, at least. You are not that guy, little one. But you know, just might be that guy. Ralts. A Pokemon that has surprisingly been able to avoid this series so far, Hoenn's resident psychic type is pretty well regarded in being so popular and uncommon in the wild, albeit it's almost always just too common for videos like this. Unlike better Pokemon, such as a Firefly and a Bell. I'm so glad we get this guy, holy shit. It's also unique as a rare encounter, as Ralts is sequestered away to just this part of Paldea. This directly contrasts with our second recruit of the run too. Unlike Ralts, you can theoretically find this evolution line all over Paldea, but at least in my research, you are always going to struggle to find this Pokemon. Happiny. Honestly, another great encounter. Chansey is well known for being a bulky beast with its special defense and HP, as well as a bulky bastard to corral in the Safari Zone. No, I am not bothered about that still. Its pre-evolution makes its debut in these series though, as at a 2 in 152 probability chance of encounter in the Southern Province's flower areas, this is arguably the best odds that we would get for this guy. I'd still take it over the Safari Zone. That makes for 2 pretty cool Pokemon to start building a team around for this video. And it's one we're going to have to be quite careful with, considering that I will be playing with all of these rare Pokemon's lives. Oh, did I forget to mention that this video is also a Nuzlocke? Yeah, so you may have expected this video to be a breeze had it solely been me recruiting the rarest Pokemon and blitzing through Scarlet's open world. But I had equal amounts of fun and heartbreak when playing Pokemon Shield with hardcore Nuzlocke rules, and that is only amplified in Generation 9. Rules will be in the description. That's a lie, I actually can't be bothered to type them out, but just know, fainting equals death, levels are capped at every gym leader's ace, team sizes must match the gym leaders too, I hope that doesn't lead to any funny hijinks, and to make it even harder, no terrestrialization. I think I can make it through this game without how broken this mechanic can be. And it's at the door of Misagoza where we're harassed by Dragon Ball Super Goku for a fight. Normally this should otherwise be considered a fairly simple battle that introduces new mechanics and nothing more. For us, I might have panicked a little. We are quite overleveled, but I did not want to be taking any risks losing Pokemon this early on, as despite this handicap in our favour, Ralts still takes decent damage from Quaxly. The ability to heal back health with Draining Kiss fortunately puts us in a strong position by the time her starter cracks under pressure. Then, when she's forced to bring out her Pikachu knockoff Pawmi, its electric-type terrestrialization means it can fire off even harder hits against our Melonhead. So I truly have faith that we can get through this no concerns whatsoever. well, okay, her hands are tied slightly there, but it's all good, I'm sure of it. As we have Happiny to come out and take a Thundershock of her own. Another crit, what the fuck, man? And succeed in pounding Nemona's Paw Me. Pretty dicey victory. This is a tutorial fight for the game. Luckily, at this point in Scarlet and Violet, you're nearly past all the super cool introductory elements of the game. This leaves you with the final 10% of the game to actually play, but it at least allows us to free roam towards our goals for this challenge. There's the simple 8 gym leader path that we have to prevail over, paired with taking down 5 Titan Pokemon and 5 Team Star bosses to try and topple. 18 badges alongside a bunch more difficult fights after that fact genuinely makes for a brilliant video format, focusing on keeping our team through this permadeath nightmare. And our team can keep scaling in size just before the first gym battle in Cortondo against Katie and her bug types. You would pretty much expect this to be pretty standard, right? 3 baby Pokemon, all of which are in some way historically the weakest type? It feels like a layup for most teams. Most teams don't consist of Anthony Fantano and an egg that's allergic to solids. Our duo just barely were able to squeak by 2 underleveled Pokemon less than a minute ago. I am near certain that neither of these two will be able to make it out alive at this point. So it's in our good fortune that the West Province of Paldia gives us 2 more encounters to recruit to the team too. But not just any 2 Pokemon. The combination of Rockruff and Eevee. These are just an absolute spoils for us. Not even for this run, but in general, these 2 are up there for some of the most popular and cool Pokemon in the region that they're based in. Eevee has shown up a few times now in this Rarest Team Series 2, though after the last time I recruited this goober, I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder to make things right in Paldia. This is greatly assisted by our other pickup in Rockruff. However, this Rockruff, as I'm sure you can tell, is not right at all. We need a different kind of dog to fit the vibe. As when you look at these 2, the differences are clear. This guy is the most intimidating creature I've ever seen, but this guy, he's pretty chill. He goes at his own tempo, with Lycanroc being split into 3 possible evolution forms. The possible midday and midnight evolutions come from your bog standard Rockruff. Own tempo Rockruffs, on the other hand, have the ability to evolve into the elusive Dusk form. These hounds are about 20 times less common than their counterparts, so it takes a few tries to find one. Though before long, we've got ourselves a top dog to go along with our top dog ? Now, surely, at this point in the game, with these Pokemon on the team, I've done all the preamble and we can actually start pushing through the gym challenge in this game. Look, I really don't want to play through the opening of this game again. Though we can't catch over-leveled Pokemon across the region, we're still completely game to journey across Paldia to find very useful and totally necessary items, such as the evolutionary stones in the desert area. While I wasn't entirely sure what evolution I wanted, I did know that Jolteon, in this case, would be pretty useful insurance at this point for us. It has an amazing move pool now available, which I can attest to being genuinely one of the best answers for Katie. And if you think it is overkill, no it wasn't. Attempt 2 has learnt from the mistakes of its predecessor as Jolteon uncovers a strategy that'll help much of our turmoil in this run. Firstly, for whatever reason, Jolteon can learn Double Edge from the move reminder feature, so that helps us comfortably crush Katie's lead Nimble. This then helps us twofold, as it both takes out a Pokemon quite tough for our squad, while Rockruff reaches level 16 mid-battle, now learning the move Howl. And while Nimble was concerning with Double Kick, Tarantula can't quite square up to the second half of our strategy. Jolteon also learns the ability to be incredibly charming, which neuters the baby spider's offensive capabilities into the mud. This opens a fantastic video for our Rockruff, who now has the ability to boost its attack without any strife. Okay, that's some double-loaded strife sent our way, but not to worry. We might get taken to very low health by the time we go on the offense, yet we are totally fine because we swiftly smush Tarantula for the knockout, leaving Katie with only Teddiursa that cannot in any way square up to us. Unbelievable, man. And just like that, attempt 3 of a Pokemon Scarlet Nuzlocke went out without a hitch, as Toby Fox III wipes out Katie's ace Teddiursa in a single shot. Wow, such flawless gameplay, just like I planned. And we get our hands on the first gym badge. And my court date gets moved up to next week too. Even with an overpowered evolution in our arsenal before the first gym, I still failed a deathless attempt on the first try. Is it because I'm dumb? Almost assuredly, yet I want it to be known that this is why I ended up loving this run. We have a lot that we can do, and in spite of that, our restrictions still result in some tough fights across the journey. Like the first Titan battle in this game, for instance. If we had a halfway capable water or grass type to work with, this would be child's play against the crown crustacean. In our shoes, however, we have to rely on Jolteon for this. Not a terrible choice per se, yet Thundershock still only do a quarter of the Titan's health, and Vice Grip ends up doing quite a lot more than I was hoping. Had the Titan Titan gone solely on the attack from the start instead of using the move block, we could have been in some real trouble there. Luckily, its ability Anger Shell, which reduces its defensive stats below half its health, lets us barely squeak by part 1 of Tough Fight number 2 of this game. The second phase could have gone easily as dicey as the first, though luckily we're accompanied by Arven for this portion, a dude with a fantastic answer for Claw in shoulder, who I'd hope could take the reins a little bit, so we charm the Titan to minimize its output, then get immediately crit, all the while Arven's dumbass just leers at the crab. After 2 turns of this, I used the convenient move Helping Hand, thinking surely this will allow our partner Pokemon to hit Claw for big damage. No, not at all. We'd already started losing a lot of health in this fight. In an alternative world where Claw opts to bully us, it could have put someone in quite a bit of jeopardy, but ultimately the world is kinder to us and the Rock Lobster targets Arven for the rest of the battle, giving us an easy window to shock it to its core. Still deathless this run, at least. My team is all here, my clothes are only slightly soiled, and experience from the battle lets our Happiny evolve into Chansey. Nevertheless, after how close those 2 fights have been, I'm pretty comfortable in thinking that no matter how advanced our team can get, there might always be some degree of risk in Scarlet and Violet. So while Brassius, the grass-type gym leader of Artisan Town, is next on the chopping block, I'm looking at his team at this point and the current level cap, and I'm getting pretty worried. I don't think this team of 4 gets through without at least someone having to make the ultimate sacrifice, which is something I don't even want to be considering barely into our journey. But, incredibly, fortunately for us, there is a Pokemon that we can catch, one who is native to Paldea, and one who just might be the Pokemon line to take us all the way through Pokémon Scarlet. Charcadet. A welcome addition to the roster, as Charcadet and its evolutions are debatably the most popular wild Pokemon to come from Generation 9 in the fanbase. A lot of people love Ceruledge, and its presence would be incredibly welcome on this team, but given it's locked behind Pokemon Violet, we'll just have to make do with taking out our frustration on an entire family of Bronzor, with their fragments carried as trophies all the way to this strange unassuming man in this strange unassuming town of Zapapico. He gave the strange unassuming auspicious armor item to me, the strange and unsightly Luca. This allows us to immediately upgrade our tiny trooper Charcadet into the run's knight in burning armor, Armor Rouge. My second favourite Pokemon in this game, just behind the Goofy Frog. And a Pokemon that might be, perhaps genuinely kind of overkill for our upcoming gym battle. Like in our gym quest prior to collect Sunflora in Hide and Seek, I decided to square up to one of them. I turned it to Ash in a single moment. Chansey apparently liked it though. Anyway, you don't need me to show you how this gym fight goes. 2 tiny grass buds meet an untimely end, and while Sudowoodo in theory could be a genuine obstacle for us, Brassius cuts the balls off the bonsai. And it isn't these ones. Right, well, that's 2 gym badges down, and with 6 more to go, we have a team that looks like this. As you can imagine, we don't have an issue for a while, right?
Wrong!
I'm not messing with you here. I'm keeping it 100% real. The next fight for us is the second Titan Pokemon Bombardier, an uncomfortable looking Dark-type Stalk that I figured would be the start of me montaging through the next few fights. I was very wrong and played this game very stupidly. Jolteon feels like a natural counter to this guy, and had I gone for Charm on turn 1, maybe that would have been the case. But we're outsped for 1, and Plucks hurt in spite of the resistance. Thundershocks do okay damage, though I'm not particularly confident after the following turn. We'd assuredly finish the first phase, but if Bombardier went for its much better move in Rock Throw at any point, we'd be risking a death here. So I go into Rockruff. This was a bad move, an even worse move than not going for Charm in the beginning, because now we assuredly see Rockruff die this turn unless we switch. Not to worry though, we have Blissey. Maybe I'll rebrand to Chud the Luca. At this point, I've just started panicking, pivoting to hopefully find an edge that isn't coming. Armor Rouge emerges as the correct choice to tank a Pluck, yet here especially, we are at the risk of Rock Throws. And then Arceus itself shines down on this run for this fight. In one of the grossest displays of RNG, Bombardier misses its Rock Throw, clearing us to shoot out a mystical fire. If it weren't for the rain, that would be the first phase done, though Fortune shines twice for us as it misses Rock Throw again the following turn. By every metric, we deserved a punishment there for being so reckless, but the game treated us kindly. Technically, we're still not even in the clear for the second phase, as unlike with Clorf, we can't heal between the fight halves. Yet the emergence of Arven is a lifeline for us. The Titan focuses its efforts on the Rock-type Knackley initially, allowing us to harshly reduce its attack stat with Charm, and that alone makes enough difference for us to chip away at the Titan's health until it reaches 0. That win was not deserved in the slightest. I think I deserved to die in place of my team. Although, luck seemed to be on our side majorly during that sequence, and I think that was the game being kind to me. So you know what? I can talk about Scarlet and Violet's good aspects quickly too. I still think that the older generations are peak, but this game might have my favourite Pokemon rival / friend in Arven. His character's great, his story is sweet, and is the peak of this game, even if I find the Titan fights kinda lame. The opposite is the case for our next stop though, as it's our first showcase of the Team Star subplot in this game. It's dookie, dude. They're like, I'm sorry, this story is poop from a butt. Excluding this strange, mysterious man. He looks like a friend, and yet I can't quite place our time together. Anyway, the rest of this story is super lame, and I didn't care for it whatsoever. That being said though, the Team Star boss fights, they are menacing, and I'm pretty unnerved by each of them. This mainly comes down to the Starmobiles being very formidable aces to try and take down if you're not prepared. Huge health stats with guaranteed 80 base power moves on all of their movesets. And when it comes to the dark type star boss Giacomo, we seriously struggle with our current makeup. Our strongest Pokemon is weak to it with no obvious answer. Like, a knight in shining armor needs its own knight in shining armor. Oh yeah, okay, no, that'll do actually. Trust me, I wanted to potentially delay Ralts' evolution possibilities until it was direly needed. And yet, an hour after attempting to find a Pokemon in particular that we could recruit at this point, ended up only finding my reflection in life that I will never get that hour that I lost back. I could have bet on a roulette wheel 60 times instead. I could have taken $1, put it on red 60 times, and then lose mathematically most likely. So I triggered Plan D a bit haphazardly, though it did mean that we had a Pokemon with 125 base attack paired with the move Sacred Sword. Wow, what an underdog story. The odds were against us, yet we pulled through Team Star's first boss somehow. I know, when you have this team before the 3rd gym badge, you wonder how you get by on a day-to-day basis as well. This does admittedly mark the first part of this run where we can sort of breeze through the next bosses in our way. Though the game is heating up in power, we just sort of have solid answers across the board. Iono and her electric types stand strong against us, like her Belly Bolt did pretty solid damage to Gallade, though it was pretty much a bump in the ride of our team crushing through her squad. Mismagius is notoriously a troll with its Terror type, Confuse Ray, and Levitate ability, but Blissey throws egg on its face with how well it tanks its attacks. Once we finished with her, Mela also didn't stand much chance. Kind of stupid on my part, again, as I forgot that her lead Torkoal sets up the sun, allowing it to hit harder than I anticipated with Flame Wheel. Thankfully, Armarouge is also here, with the Flash Fire ability giving us free reign to tank fire type moves without issue, powering up our own for decent damage as well. A pretty scuffed strategy to fight fire with literal fire, though it thankfully sees us through. Orpheum is next for us, and we can try to okay bro, nice one. So we're just left with the water gym leader Kofu, who once again, on paper, isn't super straightforward, much like many other parts of this run. Geotron's best electric move it knows naturally is still only Thundershock, so I was a bit reserved at first, until a new strategy emerged. A pretty routine fight then plays out. Gallade also has its own charming side to it, bringing Kofu's lead Veluza to -6 attack after the first few turns. By pivoting into Jolteon, we can then securely increase our speed by 6 stages with the move Agility. Finally, with the move Electro Ball, which increases in power the faster you are than your target, we get to see a clever manhandling of the Water-type gym leader, marking the halfway point of our journey. This team, objectively, is pretty sweet. I'm sure we can all agree with that. It's no wonder that we've been able to get this far in this video without a single canonical death in this attempt so far. But while we'd been climbing up the ranks with moderate to no resistance, Kofu marked a pretty significant turning point in our gym conquest. He was the first one to use a team with fully evolved Pokemon, and bearing in mind that some trainers up to this point were either still quite troubling or needed a huge counterweight in our favour to trivialize otherwise, I was still a little bit worried. What helps us is that the level cap at this point allows us to start recruiting even more pivotal Pokemon to this run success, as they can expand the team makeup nicely. Toadscool, for instance. This guy would be an amazing addition to the team with its typing, plus it's super rare in most of Paldea. Except for one location, where it's so incredibly common that it's no longer eligible for this run. That is not Toadscool. That is in fact Toad's Uncool. I think Toadscool needs a new name to capture this degree of uncoolness. Toadspunk. Mercifully, we're able to pick out a trio of other Pokemon to fill out in our roster in its place, as in and around the recent areas that we'd conquered, we're able to first obtain ourselves a Zorua, an incredible teammate to have at our disposal, not only due to the fact that it has the Imposter ability that I'm certain won't break the game at all, but with its swift evolution into Zoroark, we had a specially offensive glass cannon that gives us great answers to Psychic or Ghost types. Following this, another big inclusion to the team comes when we chance upon a Paldean Tauros, but not just any Tauros, the Blaze variation Tauros. This guy is exactly who that's the wrong one. This guy is exactly who we needed back before Giacomo. Its typing and power would have filled in a brilliant slot that wouldn't have required us to get a Gallade this early. This guy's a probability weight of 3. Last but not least, however, is a Pokemon who can only be found tunneling through the desert area of Eastern Paldea. Despite its astronomically low probability rate in this area as well, it is a Pokemon native to Paldea that we can absolutely utilize to its fullest potential in a completely unique spot on the squad. Glimmet, the ace of this game's Pokemon champion, with an entire ethos and design based around setting up entry hazards early in fights to keep the battles in your favour, is also possible to find in and around mainland Paldea, as well as serves as a Pokemon unlike anything else that we can utilise in these games. These new inclusions made me feel as if our squad were on the one-way track to superstardom in this game, Nuzlocke be damned, albeit that hypothesis gets a bit stress tested by the next spot on our journey, the poison-type boss of Team Star, Atticus. An easy enough opening to start with. His lead Skuntank, when facing off with our newly acquired poison-type Glimmet, loves to try and sucker punch us. When we don't bite, however, he can only watch us set up entry hazards of Stealth Rocks and Spikes to balance the battlefield in our favour, before Gallade enters the fray. We do end up getting hit by Toxic, yet a Sacred Sword followed by Bulldoze gives us a strong start. This continues against his Muck too. I was a little concerned about the firepower from Sludge Wave, yet we managed to eat it like it's nothing, to clear through Atticus's first 2 Pokemon. Revavroom, on the other hand, is a concern. Fast and powerful with strong moves to boot. As after bringing in our Fire-type Tauros on an Iron Head for an Intimidate, I, for whatever reason, brought in Armor Rouge. This lets Revavroom fire off a painful Bulldoze before I panic and tank any other hits as well, just so we can melt the Steel-type with a Mystical Fire. The battle is far from over too, as the Starmobile now makes its entrance. I opt to play it quite risky, as a critical hit Noxious Talk would have taken us down, yet we survive and can fire off a Psyshock for solid damage against the pimped out ride. This is truthfully one of the luckier finishes for us again, as we have a whole team available to pick up the slack that I basically continue to drop on the odd fight or so, yet nevertheless we're able to brutishly force our way to a win with our team. Concerningly close, yet still successful in no casualties so far. I can't even foresee at this point how that thing that I'm worried about would ever happen in this run at all. So, here's where things took a turn. Our next gym leader on the radar is the normal type gym leader Larry. Not much to say during this fight. He's one of the better gym leaders in the whole franchise, personality-wise, but with a team that consists of Pokemon so easily neutered, with the space to bolster our own, our 2 fighting types and Jolteon make this fight a clean 3-0 sweep in the end. A slightly muddied 3-0 sweep in the end. The problem that arose, however, is nothing directly to do with Larry. As per the rules of this run to make it challenging, I only entered the fight with these 3. What I forgot, meanwhile, was that the 5th gym is where Nemona challenges you to a battle straight afterwards. No team switching, no move changes, no healing either. That's actually a lie, they do that, but it blindsided me quite a bit. She carries 4 Pokemon, so we're already with our backs against the wall here. What's good for us, at least, is that her first 3 Pokemon seem pretty straightforward. Tauros is a great counter for Lycanroc, and Double Keeks get the KO. Goomy follows suit, as we can work up our ball just once to boost its offense, eat a Dragon Pulse, then kick that Slime Ball into next week. Pormo, coming in 3rd, is pretty easy to counter too. Jolteon absorbs all electric attacks, meaning we can charm its offense into the dirt before bringing Tauros back in. Sure, we get hit by Thunder Wave to paralyze us, though that's clearly not going to stop our momentum either. 1 Raging Ball, and we best this rodent. And then Quaquaval enters, and I realize at this moment that I have severely fucked it. Nemona is about to terrestrialize her starter into a water-type torpedo, leaving this team wide open. It might have 3 different moves in its arsenal, but if it goes for Aqua Step, it is basically committing whoever we bring in to its death. I completely failed our team here, and as such, Tauros has to pay the price on a priority Aqua Jet. This isn't where the fault stopped, sadly. I was certain we'd be outsped by Quaquaval, though Gallade surprisingly manages to move first to land a charm. While Quaquaval now goes for Aqua Step, this does slightly less than half damage, at the downside of it now outspeeding us. And theoretically, I could have charmed again here. I should have charmed here, in all honesty. But I didn't. I felt like the writing was on the wall if I tried to switch into Jolteon mid-turn. So Gallade took another Aqua Step for big damage, fired off a commendable Sacred Sword in its own right, yet cemented its fate. Thank you for coming, Gallade. The only upside to this is that there was potentially a risk of us losing 3 Pokemon here. 1 more scary Aqua Step in our future, however, and that mercifully proved to be untrue, as a Volt Switch ends the Water-type Menace's kill count for this battle, barely squeaking by without a full team wipe. So, yeah, the Deathless Run sadly can't celebrate much beyond Gym Badge number 5. And now these Pokemon are in hell. that's my B. At the very least, this particular moment snapped something in me. No more half measures. By being coy and not really thinking that much ahead, we'd lost both of our fighting types. A type easily considered the best for a lot of the late game in Scarlet and Violet. So as the game was starting to increase more and more in power, we would need to expand the team wherever we can for the remainder of our ascension to the top. This begins simple enough on our first stop to the town of the 6th gym leader, Rhyme. To begin, we can make sure that our team is at its full potential with some more evolutions. Lycanroc Dusk form gives our Rocky Puppy a brilliant boost to its attack and speed, while Glimmet evolving into Glamora reinforces our Trap Setter when it wants to make its mark on the field. It didn't need to worry about the next gym fight though. Rhyme, the Ghost Gym leader, is the only trainer who uses a double battle format, which we can use to great effect to showcase our team so far. For starters, while she starts with Mimikyu and Banette, we lead with Blissey and Armarouge. Or at least that's how it appears. Zoroark has taken the form of our normal type, giving it a window to fire off a Night Slash onto Banette, while Armarouge burns Mimikyu with Will-O-Wisp to neuter its firepower. Then, on the following turn, Zoroark finishes the Occultish Puppet, while Armarouge sets up a Calm Mind. To our benefit too, this battle alone has the crowd boost your team when you have the advantage, meaning we were getting stronger as the battle snowballed. I tried to be clever on the following turn when Houndstone hits the field. Armarouge knows the move Ally Switch to swap places with Zoroark, though that ultimately does nothing, considering our Illusionist can just wipe out opponents in a single shot. The same goes for everyone else on Rhyme's team, really. A pretty good win, by all metrics. A dominant performance with 0 casualties or concerns. Let's hope that continues for us. Well, next up is a Titan Pokemon, specifically Great Tusk. A ground fighting Pokemon. A Pokemon that hits everything we have for super effective damage. And I still don't know how I'm going to finish this sentence either. Not ideal, let's be real, to have a Pokemon that would almost assuredly bulldoze through our remaining 6 Pokemon in a permadeath run. Like, I truly do not see the path to victory at all as it currently stands. But coincidentally, 6 gym badges marks a development in our rare encounter escapades. While in some games, the items you can buy at each shop are upgraded as you progress through your journey, in Paldea, this also applies to what you can put on your subway. Going to the various different shops scattered around the region gives us access to all kinds of sandwich fillings. Another unique feature to a Pokemon game that could influence the kind of wild encounters you see, as certain combinations of recipes between 2 pieces of bread influence the chances of you encountering a certain Pokemon type in the wild. It's just as simple as putting down ingredients, then closing the sandwich. How did I mess that up so badly? These come in handy, especially at this point for us, as now we have the chance to assemble sandwiches with stronger chances of influencing the wild encounters. This Ultra Ham sandwich, for instance, greatly improves our prospects of finding a fairy type. In congruence with this, by heading to the island off the mainland of the overworld, this majorly increases our opportunity to find parts of the Flabebe line. Though it's not just any Flabebe, the rarest type, much like in Pokemon X and Y, is the white flower family. Potentially, it might be seen as cheating to use sandwiches to influence our wild encounters, but minimizing downtime for a Pokemon as cool and as rare as White Flower Floette, who we immediately upgraded to Florges, is going to be very helpful in this late game, as after we swiftly best the prehistoric beast thanks to Moonblasts, we get to fumble around with this admittedly irritating mechanic again. Albeit this delicious mix of potato salad and glizzies is clearly the perfect bait for the fiery moth Larvesta, one of my absolute favourite Pokemon straight up, that adds to our type variety available to us going forward. Sandwiches weren't the only things we were getting either. Now the shops in this game were stocked up with some quality held items like leftovers or type boosters such as the Magnet, and this marked a pretty significant turning point for our remaining push to get the last few badges in this game. Admittedly, the trainer I feared the most at this point was Nomona, who we have to face again before the 7th gym leader. We still don't have a great defensive answer for her ace Quaquaval, but the rest of our team is pretty empowered. Her lead Lycanroc can somewhat be stymied by Aglamora. Imagine not leading with this Pokemon in battle, by the way. Like, how embarrassing would that be? As its Toxic Debris ability means that it poisons the battlefield for Nomona's remaining team when it's hit, before Florges is able to hold it off thanks to its held leftovers, healing moves, and Moonblast. Formo, much like the previous fight, can't do much to Jolteon, so switching back and forth between it and Armarouge lets Poison run down the clock on this murderous beast. Her Sliggoo, meanwhile, can have its special attack produced by Armarouge's Mystical Fire, clearing Jolteon to re-emerge with a tried and true strategy. We increase our speed repeatedly with agility, finish off the Dragon Snail's remaining slither of HP, before the hyperspeed of our evolution wipes out Nomona's Quaquaval in a flash. A pretty cathartic win over our dastardly rival, and a fight that in truth, is far more interesting than anything else in our way. The 7th gym leader, Tulip, for instance, specializes in psychic types. She leads with a Pokemon who can use psychic type moves. We have Zoroark pretend to be Blissey to avoid her Zen Headbutt attack, as we are immune to psychic. A foolproof plan. Except, not only does Tulip mess up on the first turn, she messes up every turn after that. I have no idea why this is the case, but Tulip's for a giraffe is dead certain to hit a Zen Headbutt in spite of its inability to do so. So we just set up and sweep the whole team. Then the 8th gym leader, Grusher, proves to be about as useless as he is pretty. Charcoal boosted flamethrowers swiftly burn through his Frostmoth and Beartic. A Will-O-Wisp neuters his Titan, and then the incredible special attack from Glamora lets Power Gem blast through it and his Ace Altaria for a decisive final gym fight in this Nuzlocke. That clears one of the 3 badge quests in this game, yet 2 more remained with 3 more big fights waiting for us. They were piss easy. Sorry, I'm sure I'm blitzing through these parts, but there's just nothing much to say here really. Ortega is the fairy-type Team Star boss, but his leader Azumarill can quickly be dismantled by Jolteon's charm. Furthermore, Glamora knows the move Acid Armor, doubling its defenses, combined with the leftovers held item to basically become an impenetrable poison wall, sludging and trudging through his entire fairy battalion. Up next is the final Titan fight against the combination of Dondozo and Tatsugiri, yet unfortunately for this water type, the sky is alive with thunder, and this one's electric. Tatsugiri boasts a water dragon typing to be much scarier for Jolteon, albeit much easier for our Blissey, given it only knows special attacks. That means our egg-shaped friend, who's barely appeared in this run, just eats all the attacks thrown its way, while we eventually beat it by hook or by crook. Last up for us at this point is the final Team Star boss, Aerie, and her fighting types, who could otherwise be considered the most difficult pre-championship fight in this game. So Armourouge leads, sees off Sucker Punch from Toxicroak by boosting with Calm Mind, increases our speed with a Flame Charge, and then obliterates our whole squad. If this doesn't suffice as good play-by-play, here's another photo of my dog. It started scary, wavered throughout, and then ended up being a bit of a cakewalk by this point, but a collection of the rarest Pokemon in the Paldean region had managed to acquire all 18 badges in this adventure. However, debatably, these were only the appetizers to the final battles of this run. 10 trainers, 10 tough teams, including 2 that I'd be especially worried about in the last leg of this run. On the back of this, it's clear that we need to get our final 2 encounters to cement this team's success, as I've left the best until last. The 2 that will be the foundation to our victory, and we need them now more than ever. Beginning at the peak of the snowy mountain of this game, with the assistance of an avocado sandwich, this brings out a whole horde of the Paldea pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Frigibax. Given we're at a level cap of nearly 60 at this point in the run too, the power of an ice-type dragon like Baxcalibur is going to be a tremendous creature to fall back on in case things were to go awry. But what else can possibly match up to this sort of power only found in Generation 9? I might have forgotten about this guy, and to be honest, you might have done so too. Look, whatever, we need the numbers, and Squawkabilly's rarest white plumage at least diversifies what types that we're strong in. And it also has the Intimidate ability like our Fallen Bull, so I'm quietly optimistic to see this guy's potential, as that marks the point of no return for this run. 10 teammates, 2 Fallen Soldiers, with 0 room for anyone else. We start making our way towards the Pokemon League to at least prove ourselves as a champion level trainer. Before we can even get to that point though, we have the Elite 4 standing in our way. Most of these are specialists in types that I feel somewhat confident about, yet we do have a bit of a problem with the lead of the Elite 4, Rika. She has ground types across her squad, and nothing in our team can really withstand that, but I was still confident we could push through. Starting with our White Flower Florges. With its ability to use the move Petal Dance, it quickly cuts through the greatest Pokemon of all time, as well as manages to take out Rika's Camerupt in 2 hits, despite being put to sleep by a Yawn in the process. Given that her Donphan knows the move Poison Jab, I decide it's time for one of our core pillars to make its debut, eating the hit like it's nothing. And while a Stone Edge might be on its way, we can roost our bird until a miss or opportunity arises. I think this might be a little bit of a hard needle for it to thread. Okay, so our bird with 8 seconds of screen time is dead, but at least it clears the opening for our other pillar, at least. Baxcalibur can land an Icicle Crash, tank a Stone Edge, then Crunch for the KO. Dugtrio coming in 4th would be slightly scary, if not for its affinity to set up a Sandstorm, meaning that we can get the quick KO. And while Rika's Ace Clodsire might have tried to make Baxcalibur the funniest failure since the birth of my son, we managed to squeak by a win with minimal casualties. Except Squawkabilly. He's in hell now. From the lowest of lows, however, come the highest of highs. Nothing much stands in our way here, which is fortunate. Poppy, for one, can see her team be easily destroyed by Armarouge's fire-type moves. But it also turns out that enough sandwiches eaten by our team has given us some pretty bullshit affection mechanics. Some might call this cheating. I say we're being looked down on. From hell, somehow. Anyway, Poppy is quickly crushed, and Larry's team of birds can't do much to us either. It seemed a bit dicey in the first few moves at first, but eventually we get to a point where it's Jolteon against his electric-type Oricorio. It wants to use the move Revelation Dance, which is a normal-type move, but changes type depending on the type of the Oricorio. Clearly, in this game, the AI only sees it as a normal-type move, as Oricorio just continues to use it against Jolteon, which literally does nothing. Must avoid dogpiling on game made by a small indie company. The last Elite Four member, Hassel, thankfully, doesn't have any AI issues. It's because I gave our dragon a choice scarf, meaning it can move first and use the 120 base power move Glaive Rush to sweep his team like it's nothing. But surely the champion trainer Gita will be something different, right? It'll have to give us something that we can't easily cheese. So you know that fight where Zoroark was a different Pokemon and the gym leader can't see it? This happens again with the champion. And 3 more fights past this point. I truly could not believe it when I saw her lead psychic type Espathra continue to hit us with a psychic move that wasn't working at all. But this game continued to amaze me as we set up 3 nasty plots on Zoroark to maximize its special attack, then subsequently swept Gita's whole team with Night Daze and Flamethrower. This strategy worked against the champion of the Pokemon region, against the fight with the game's director, thanks to him also leading with a psychic type, also somewhat against the team star leader Penny, save for her final 2 Pokemon, and also in the battle against Arven, where much like Gita, it's just the Zoroark show. It's pretty stunning that some of the highest level battles in this game can be so comfortably toyed with. Or maybe that's just the team's rarity shining through. And while we were able to succeed with a strategy as admittedly cheap as it comes, by this point in the game, 2 trainers remained. A rematch against our rival Nemona, and the secret final boss against Professor Sarda. Both have full teams of 6, both have teams filled with diverse and powerful Pokemon, and both deserve the full focus of live play-by-play to see if we're able to see this Nuzlocke through to the end. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching up to this point. This series had genuinely been a blast to make, and I hope you enjoy the double-sided climax of this video and series. You know, it would be really funny if after recording that line about it being a double finale, I lose this battle. Because I could do that. That would be kind of funny. Wanted to keep this lead simple, dog v dog. This is the team that I've got for the Nemona fight. Feel pretty okay about it, though I don't really have a great answer for this guy. So I've gone for Wide Lens on Lycanroc to hopefully hit a Stone Edge. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, if this is an affection mechanic, no, it isn't. Okay, that's fine. I thought I was going to say I reset the affection mechanics before this fight in the save that I got legally, so it didn't have any funny business go on. That was just luck. So this guy absolutely wants to close combat, and I think this means you come in. Oh, okay. So yeah, we're dead to a crit. But it's not going to crit, that's for sure. So I was planning to take Armarouge to the end of the game. I mean, I'm quite shocked. I'm quite shocked, but that was also really funny. So I'm of 2 minds about it. It's actually really bad because I don't have a good answer. Oh, Jesus Christ. I might actually wipe before the final boss. That would be pretty money. Okay, yeah, we take that fine. Why didn't I switch into Jolteon when it went for double shot? Whatever. It's content, I guess. I'm throwing for content. As you're dead. Right. Okay, this has been a decidedly more even start than I was hoping for. And so I actually I don't have a plan for you at all. My plan for you was you. Now what do I do? Right, let's think about this real quick. Oh, Jesus Christ. This has gone so horribly. That was literally the one thing we didn't want to happen. Okay. It's going to go for Earthquake and nothing can really take it. Okay, actually, no, that's not true. Let's play risky. Let's play risky. Let's try not to have anyone else die in this battle, if that's okay. That would have been mad, actually, to switch into anything else. That was I'm glad I didn't do that. Okay, the problem here, a little bit, is that Orpheum can go for any move between Iron Tail, Body Press, and Rock Blast. I'm going to hope that it goes for Iron Tail and misses. Okay, goes for Iron Tail. Doesn't miss. Does do that much, which is lucky. So let's go with this. Please live. Okay, right. That hurts. I guess the question is, my strategy probably for Quaquaval was Jolteon. Short of Jolteon, we've got Excalibur as our insurance with Choice Scarf Glaive Rush. I think that's the correct path. So let's. I'm gonna have to go for Thunder. I have to go for it here. I have to get some damage off. I think. Please kill. Oh, okay. Maybe the charm was actually kind of pointless. Well, no, it wasn't, because it guaranteed that we lived that. Okay, to Dunsparce. Okay, oh, Jesus Christ. Right, that's good, actually. I didn't think about that. Okay. A Drill Run is coming. I go with you. If it goes for Dragon Rush, the most insane prediction of all time. You don't go for Drill Run. You go for a move that's going to hurt more. Okay, that's less good. Right, you almost assuredly go for Dragon Rush. No, you could go for Hyper Drill. I think this is my out. That's bad. That is probably the worst move they could have used. I probably sound a little bit down tempo because I'm a bit tired as I'm doing this fight. I can't lie, this is going very, very insane. I have to hope the Stone Edge hits and probably crit. Maybe the crit doesn't matter too much. I'm just going to hope that we live a Drill Run with +1. We surely do. Okay, that's good. Oh. We don't live a Drill Run. We don't live a Drill Run. Okay. What's the Dunsparce's speed stat? Let's try that one again. What's the Dunsparce's speed stat? 55. Okay, yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. It's all good. It's all good. There's no drama whatsoever. This has gone horribly. But at the very least, we have a very brief window of reprieve. Saying that, there is a bit of a problem here. I kind of need to get Excalibur in before... Oh no. I needed to get Excalibur in before Goodra goes down. But I'm pretty sure Goodra is going to almost universally go for Dragon Pulse now. And because it's poisoned, I don't think I have a switch in. Yeah, I don't have a switch in now. This isn't good. I joked about, wiping before Sarda. We might actually unironically do that. That hurts, but we go back to full health. Okay, this is not ideal. Nimona has taken 2 Pokemon prior to this fight and has taken 2 more already before the one that killed the previous 2.
Scheiße!
Okay. Play is simple. We absolutely can live any hit. It's in our best interest to charm above all else. I just don't know if we live like anything. Listen, you have 255 base HP. Please tell me you live at least one of these hits. So Blissey does not live any of these hits. Okay. I believe we outspeed with Jolteon. But it's kind of everything I want to do. I want to take an evolution to an end of a Nuzlocke after the last one. So I'm going to hope that a Choice Scarf Glaive Rush gets the kill. If we don't move first, we are in a pickle, is what people would describe. Please kill. Oh my god, it wasn't even close. Oh god. This has gone fucking dire. Woo! Well, let's hope that we outspeed. Yep. Okay. Oh my god, that was the first super effective move I used in this whole fight. Why am I such a chud? Okay, so good news. We got past Nemona. The bad news is that over half our team in that battle is dead. I mean, it's fair to say that this went staggeringly bad. Also, I need to, like, pick items off of the dead. Let me just... Dude, we don't even have a full team of 6. Oh, boy. Well, this was... at least it was a fun time, I think. I'm just going to cut straight to the bottom of Area 0, so you guys don't have to watch all of that. In the meantime, Ash Ketchum, say hello to the people.
You really need to get your shit together. This is nearing a complete meltdown. The damage is truly extraordinary. It's a miracle you don't shit yourself.
Right, well, that was really boring. But we made it, and it's not going to go well, I don't think. See, it's really tempting. I lead with Zoroark, pretending to be Glamora. No, this is correct. This is going to be rough. Odds are not in our favour. That's absolutely for certain. But perhaps we can just get the slightest bit of cheese and get ahead with that. Sarda is an incredible final boss. That's another thing that Scarlet Violet does really well. Their final battles are amazing. And what better way to finish a Nuzlocke than this? We are challenged by AI Sarda, by Grok Sarda. She has an insanely good team, but we do have Reliable. This was like the most correct play to do right now. Because that sucks to take. That sucks to take. But I just want to get Slitherwing to -6 attack. If I can. Okay. Eaten a lot of damage there. But let's hope that it pays off. It's Volcarona's time to shine. Moth v Moth at the most apropos point of the journey. It needs to come online. Like, right now. How many Quiver Dances can I go for? I think I want to get 4. I think I need to get 4. Okay, that's good. That's really, really good. Reduces its output. And now I just have to hope that it keeps alternating with moves so that I can just get my speed high. Because that's the real concern. Well, one of the 2 concerns I've got. Okay, that's, you know what? It might be a little bit premature. Do I go for 1 more? +2 speed. Does that outspeed Fluttermane? It must do, but I'm still worried about it. Oh, come on. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. You need to start doing some damage now, because this obviously kills. Whatever, we are +3. It's okay. This is just going to be a real worry. Fluttermane is a disgusting glass cannon, and it has power gem. If it outspeeds, we are done. Okay. But do we take it out? Oh, yeah, okay, good. That might have seemed silly to think that it might not have got the kill, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's got a special defense of 135, so I'll take that. We also luck out with the turn order here. I can't lie, I might have overblown this fight a little bit, but we still aren't out of the woodwork because there is one other Pokemon that could be a real problem. Look, we had to play to our outs. Yeah, this is the one I'm worried about. I feel like a Sucker Punch from Brute Bonnet may get the kill. I don't know. But I feel like going for Will-O-Wisp and it going for Payback is equally as bad. So I just have to hope that it just doesn't go for it. Okay, right. It didn't do as much as I thought. Right. Now, we are basically on a one-way track to victory. But I don't want to finish the fight with just a Volcarona sweep. It could cost me. It could cost me. But let's just do something a bit more fun, shall we? It'd have been a decidedly safe sequence of events. Oh, come on. You got the Zen Headbutt there. Actually, no, that makes the most sense. Why did I think it wouldn't do that? Whatever. Limora has been huge for us. Do I want to go for Sludge Wave? Yeah, go for it. Limora's been huge for us. I knew it could take it. And I just wanted to let someone else shine before the big bad comes out. Oh, it doesn't get the kill. You know what? Let's end it there. That was a bit of a silly move in retrospect, but just wanted to do something a little bit more interesting for us. Well, we can bring in a good old Zoroark too. I mean, this AI is interesting, that's for certain. But it means that it looks like everyone's going to get a moment to shine in the final battle. Admittedly, the Volcarona lead was it was exceedingly safe, more than I thought. But we've made it to the final Pokemon in this Rarest Pokemon series. We don't really have an answer for it, and you know what, I'm just going to wait it out, I think. Zoroark, been great, but frankly, I need to secure the win. That helps us, I can't lie. The plan is still to go into Florges and not win with Zoroark. There we go, that's about expected. Although, we are hitting several Night Dazes, which do also lower accuracy. So it would be kind of money if we just win with Zoroark here. Okay, we might just win with Zoroark here, actually. Or would it be even more money to finish this series, putting a perfect little cap on it by going into Jolteon, the Pokemon that represents our big loss from the last Nuzlocke, and I'm going to have it be the Pokemon on the battlefield at the moment of victory, at the climax of the second one. There is no possible way that this can backfire. Just because that was so underwhelming at the end. Here is a third photo of my dog.